Yesterday I talked to you about the customer journey. Today I want to show you how I went deep on this concept. So if we look at the classic customer journey, nothing is really weird. Maybe I already added some details, but we can understand that is nothing that everyone in marketing has never watched. And maybe everyone work like on top of the funnel, mid of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. But in this case, I liked to went deeper on this concept because we can use the customer journey to analyze the business, to understand how we can work on this business as marketers and as advertiser. Because as advertiser, we do not only set up the advertising system on Meta, TikTok, and goes on, but we have to work also on the strategy, and we have to support the other channels, or we want to be able to do our job. So I decided to create this customer journey to show you how I'm going and studying this concept, and I will update about this concept in next days. So first of all, we have the attention, so the first touch. In this case, I used like the AIDA theory, the attention, the interest, desire, and action. In this case, the attention, or better, the just unaware, so the people that has never watched, in our case, is they can watch us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, goes on, maybe other platform. Maybe we can use a physical touch if you have a local store, or maybe we are working with a local store. The physical store is already a first touch that people have. Then we can bring those people with an interest, so we can move those people. In reality, it is even a little bit too far, because if we propose a lead magnet to those type of people, they are never going to accept. We are going to pay a lot for a lead magnet in this part of the funnel. So what we want to do is just add a little bit more, and we are going to make an attention one, F1, and then we can see that it is nurturing, and is like F2, and I should change all the frequencies and goes on. Okay, let's F3 and then I stop. Okay, why I do this? Because in this case, people has watched for the first time. So like for this video, probably this is your first time that you watch me, and you are in this part of this phase. So you are on the unaware. So even a very cold people are approaching your business, and what type of post we are going to show them is just like we exist. We want to show them posts like that. There is a store, and and that we exist as a store, and you can buy from us something. Maybe they won't remember anything about you, but just the fact that we show them that we exist is enough to create a first touch point. So people will move to the next part of the funnel, in this case the nurturing. So here we are going to show them what we can do, what we can't do for them, maybe or not, and maybe what type of problem we can solve. In this case, we are moving them on the interest side, so we are going to collect something from them that can be money. If we have a low value offer on the initial side, maybe it can be an higher offer if we have a salesman that bring them in the offer, or maybe we can make some even more complex. We can skip them to a higher value product. It's something a little bit different, but in any case, we have to make nurturing on the second frequencies, or they are not going to move on the next step, that is the interest. So they are going to give us their contact to get more thing from them. So what we can do once we collect their lead is we have to nurture them again. So we have to show them that we are a good solution for them. We have to show them that we can really solve the problem. So we can make testimonials, we can do everything, we can do sort of things like that, and then we have to move them on the sales part. So we'll send them to a landing page, we can take money from them, and in this case we can even increase what you want to get paid from them, because if they realize that we are the best solution that they can take, of course they are going to pay money, because if we can solve people problems, and that problem is a great problem for them, they are going to pay us more money compared to a low problem solution. Okay, So a rapport between problem and solution is something that we already know. Then after we take the sale, there are some people, some business that shut down the door, but other people that maybe have a little bit, maybe other product that they have to sell, they continue to nurture them, they continue to keep the contact, because if we don't keep the contact, what can happen is that some other business can take our clients. And that doesn't mean that because they come here and they pay us money, they have to repay us money. We have to keep the contact with our customers. But the fact that from now on, this is barely free. So we are not paying any money to keep the contact with them after this phase. So we paid the acquiring cost, the CPA that we took, to bring them this part of the funnel where we can make even more money, and we can continue to make money like Apple make with all the dumb people. Okay, so what we can do here is that this is nothing really weird that you ever approach in your life, probably in your marketing life, but what is a little bit more complex and then studying even more is the detail part. So if in this case I tell you that for each touch point we can assign a value and we can have a market benchmark, of course we can start to realize that it's much more clear where we have to work to achieve our goals. So for instance, if the goal of the customer journey is the conversion, what we can do is that we can assign a value. Are there posts on this page, on this in his social media of the customer that tell people that this guy exists? Probably is he has a page on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, but he misses a physical store, he misses a LinkedIn store, a LinkedIn page, he misses other touch points. So people are not going to discover this guy in other platforms. This means that if we have, for instance, because we don't have an high effort on creating this post, maybe in this case we have only for social media, imagine that they are only for social media, in this case people probably watched us at least 2 times on different platforms. This means that at least 1 time on different platforms. This means that people watched us in average 2 times. So our frequency is 2 on the first touch point, because they approached for the first time in multiple platforms. In the end, if we have a more presence on other platforms, this means that this average value is going to increase. So they will get even more the habit that we work on other things and maybe we do something, and it's much more easier to move from this step to the first step, so the first conversion. Okay, if I realize that you have to work on values, because this means that if you have an average value here of 5 and then we have an average value of 15, people come up to this point, to this first touch point with an average value of 20. So if people has like 20 and 20x the max, it's easy to get this conversion at a low price. Instead, if we have if we put a low effort on the first touch point, so this is 1, and we put a low effort on the first nurturing side, and maybe we have 5, this means that people come on the third conversion, on the third touch point with a conversion point of 6. This means that we have to pay a lot more, we have to put a lot more money, and our click rate will be even more lower to convert those people on the first touch point. So if we don't do a good work on showing them that we exist and on showing them that we can solve their problems, they are not going to give us not the money. They won't give us neither the lead, neither their contact. So we have to work first on those 2 touch points, then to move on the third one. And once you realize the customer journey, is very easy to understand where to work, where we have to work. Instead, if we do not put this thing down on a paper for every customer, it's very hard that we understand where we have to work. Or maybe we have clear that you have multiple posts, but we don't have the true idea what we are missing, why we are not able to do conversion, or why we are still paying a lot. So For instance, now we can, thanks to this thing, we can already realize what are the KPIs for ready stage. So for instance, on the first touch point, what we want is the reach. We don't care about impression, we don't care about conversion lead and goes on. Maybe Monica said, what we want to do is work for the reach, so approach more people possible at a lower price for the first time, and we want to exclude every guy, every man that already watched us for the first time. So in this way, we are going to fill our first attachment with a lot of people and even more different people, and we can move them on the second spot. Here, the KPI, in this case, is not a conversion, but so for the retargeting side, if we don't have enough data, so we don't have enough money to put a conversion or better conversion, we put ads on every social media, what we can do is put the person custom audience that is filled with reach and impressions, so the first touch point and the second touch point. So all the people that watch our and interact with our pages and all the people that interact with our website. We fill this audience and in this way we can get the lead, and in this case we can focus on cost per lead or CVR, so the conversion rate. In any case, we can work as a KPI is the conversion rate. Okay. So next thing is the fourth touch point. This is nurturing, so we are going to put a lot more content in this case to move to the next thing. Okay, now for instance, if we have here, I take this girl just I found that is 5 subscribers and she's a nutritionist. So if we watch this page, she's on YouTube. There are few contents, few visualization. What I can tell you that for her, the value so the benchmark, in my opinion, for YouTube, for the unaware, I don't see it. It's YouTube. Is 10. What she's doing is 2. So she puts on content and then she disappears. And we have to remember that if we don't fill social media with more content, what is going to happen is that this value decrease because people will approach other people and they forget us. So we have to continue to fill our social media with content. Then she does not exist on TikTok, so I'm not going to fill. I don't know if she's a LinkedIn, I didn't watch. Then I go to Instagram and she's a good page in this case, so I can tell that she has a 6 on Instagram because she publishes frequently. Maybe she doesn't approach the better niche, so she can do even more works, but this is a good, and we can put a 10 here. Then she doesn't exist on Facebook, where probably she can take the older people, and I can say even for nutritionists this is a 10 because you can do a lot on Facebook, and she has 0 in this case, so I'm not going to fill this. And what we have in this case, a value of 6 and 8, and I can already see that we have to work on her own digital presence if she wants to attract traffic. In this case, probably we have only 2 touch points and the value is 2. People watch her, if she's lucky, once. So of course, if people that are not able to watch her on social media, she's not going to create enough traffic to push people on the second side. So people does know her, do not know who she is, so people does not know who is she, and in any case we can move to the second side. So I think that for this second side she does a great job because those contents are mainly nurturing, and for Instagram I can see it is good, so I'm giving her a 7. There is 0, 0, 0 except for YouTube that she is in this case 4 on 10 because her content already disappeared. So what is going to happen with those values if she's trying to ask money to people on most social media? She's not going to get anything from YouTube, she's not going to get anything from other social media because she does not have a presence, of course, And on Instagram, probably on 2K follower, she's going to get a max of 2 customers. This is the max that she can get from her video. So the value she can get, the results she can get is a 2, because she doesn't bring enough traffic to her business. And in this case, all the work that she's doing is useless, because she's spending a lot of time to create contents, and those contents are not working because she didn't work on show people that she exists, and she's not working on creating enough nurturing side. So even when she's going to ask money, it won't work. What we can do in this case, what we can work in this case, we can even select only a channel. It doesn't matter to have multiple channels, but in my opinion, there is an application that is called Triangle, or the social media app that can allow you to upload videos on multiple platforms. So you can create a video once and set up the same video for multiple channels. That's the easiest thing that you can do to fill those 2 frequencies very easily. You upload the same video, multiple channels. It goes bad, we don't care, because if we have the focus on taking customers from a single channel, we just need to be present in other channels. We don't need to work a lot on other channels, so we don't care about other channels. So what we can do is the last thing that we can do is move all the people on the channel that we want to focus on, in this case Instagram for her. So okay, so this is why, sorry for all this, so this is why I loving this customer journey, because in few seconds we can analyze and understand what is not working in a business, and what we can do as an advertiser to support this business in all the sides, to bring more traffic and bring more customers and achieve the customer goals. Because sometimes the competition is so high that is not enough to take 10 on every side, because maybe even if we have an high volume content and high quality content, and other people doing the same, other businesses are doing the same, like maybe for market business, it won't work. And we have to think on different ways. In this case, 10 as benchmark is not enough. If we want to explode, we need 15. What does it mean to be a 15? It means that you have to work on a different communication. You have to approach a niche. We are probably, or better not approach a niche, we need a different way to communicate our solutions, and it must be different from others. Maybe we have to be more aggressive, or maybe we need to be more entertaining, or maybe we need to be more informative. We have to approach different angles, understand what works for that business, to achieve the first frequencies, the second frequencies, and then we can conquer the customer. And once we do all the first 3 touch points, then there is even hard work, that is the nurturing and the conversion and reconversion. So if you liked what I talked to you about, and if you want to follow my path as an advertiser, I advise you to subscribe to this channel, add me on LinkedIn if you want to have more in touch and want to ask me advice, and we will see you to the next video.